Tevez sta solo, Tevez all'interno dell'area, li fa fuori tutti, Tevez, si apre la porta, Tevez, gol, da dietro, Pirlo dentro,
Oh man, that intro, I tell you, every time, Raph. So, match day is upon us. Welcome, Juventini, to the All Juve cast, where, of course, it's all Juve all the time. And we're going to have some fun today. Got Raph, of course. I think Anthony's going to be jumping in here shortly as well. We got Bob always in here, right out of the gate here. Monday, 3 points, and a good morning, please. Good morning, Bob. Thanks for joining us. All right. No shortage of things to talk about surrounding Juve, and there never really is. And now, of course, transfer talks, contract extension, potential contract extension. Then you have the injuries. We're definitely going to talk injuries. It's getting absurd, to say the least. And we'll get into all that. Again, shout out to Ali joining us, and then, of course, Jeremiah. And he
Jeremiah
said, back, Raph. Let's go. So, Raph, I've seen so much this season. It's this week, on Twitter. It's absolutely insane. Oh, Omer.
Let's go.
Yes. No, I told you. I heard you guys were alone, so I decided to jump in.
Look at that.
Oh.
I wasn't ready,
All
so
right.
the birds are still here, so you have to excuse me for the noise.
There you go.
But it's all good. How are you,
Let's get
fellas?
into this. I was just going to talk about what a wild week it seems to have been on Twitter, and I've just seen absolutely everything. And Napoli, of course, dropping a big one for them yesterday. What a wild finish to that game. Had to have a chuckle. Had to take a few shots out there too, as we keep the receipts on what some of those supporters say about Juve. And now with a win today, Juve becomes 1 point back of them to potentially surpass them. Had to laugh. And one of them, what did I see yesterday? This is how rent-free Juventus is in Napoli minds. There was somebody that put the actual logo in his toilet. The Juventus logo in his toilet. And I said, wow, man, you hate a team and you would look at that crest every single day. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm taking a piss on it. I go, man, that is so sad and so pathetic. It's absolutely absurd.
Yo, be careful, man. Don't mention toilets around Napoli fans.
Oh man. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny.
Let's not go there.
Shocking stuff. Yeah, we don't want to go into the toilet thing. We definitely don't want to talk volcanoes, anything like it. They're a very sensitive bunch. So we're gonna keep it easy there. But I've seen it all. The ongoing coaches battle now on social media. Everything is a battle of coach. Everybody waiting to pick one result to try and prove a point, which has become exhausting to look at, and losing sight of the entire body of work. We're going to talk about that too. But first, let's talk about some of these rumors and whatnot. So Emerson seems to be picking up steam. He's one of the lowest targets that we've been linked with, in my opinion, but it's picking up steam. Sandro could be going. That's actually something that should happen, should be good. There's talks about Rugani getting an extension past 2024. This one's going to be interesting. Let's start with the Rugani extension talk. Obviously, he's with us until 2024. They're talking about extending Rugani. I said very briefly, for me, why make that decision now? There's no need to make that decision now. Let's wait and see what we have for targets coming in. I mean, we do have Gatti. If Gatti is going to be a part of the club, or if he's not and we want to use him as some type of trade bait or swap or something. Like, let's just wait and see what develops. But to make that call now on an extension, I think is highly, highly unnecessary. Let's get your guys' thoughts on the Rugani extension. I will say this: he's definitely this season been better than I've ever seen him at Juve, to be honest. But in terms of extension, there is no need in 2022 to make a decision on a guy that has been, for the most part, on the outside looking in. You don't have to make that call 2 years ahead. That's my thoughts. Let's get Omer and then Raph's.
Look, if we're talking at the CB role as a whole, we still need to sign someone regardless if Rugani resigns. If it's like a patch for the fourth CB spot, then I'm sort of okay with it based on what I've seen this season, depending on Gatti, what happened with Dragusin and all the guys we have out there on loan. But it shouldn't come as a replacement to Chiellini, who's leaving. We definitely had to deal with tons of injuries in defense in the past 2-3 seasons. And Rugani it should still be considered as 4th CB no matter what. We still need to sign someone else instead of him. If it does.
Oh, Omer's cutting.
I thought that was me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, Omer's cutting out.
If we sign another left back or something. So I wouldn't do it, but it's not the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah. Raph, let's get your thoughts on the Rugani possible extension. Reduced salary, of course.
Before anything, establish the Licks renewal first, the Licks long-term partner, sign some backups, and then make a decision on Rugani since his contract's expiring in 2 years. If we're renewing Rugani's contract now, that scares me because it feels like he's going to be more important than he should be. And that's not something I want at all.
Yeah.
Especially when we still have Demiral on our books. And
I'm in the same boat. Like, let's wait it out. Let's see what we can do, what we can bring in. We still have to bring in some guys. So let's wait and see. But to talk these extensions, this is a reminder of how we got into trouble not too long ago when we were booking extensions before we needed to and made some of the wrong calls. But I don't think Rugani would fall completely in that line, but I just don't see the need to make that call 2 years ahead of schedule. Like, let's just wait it out and see. Now, apparently, Di Maria has a first offer from Juventus. These are the latest rumors this morning. We talked about Emerson picking up steam. We can also talk that Raspadori and Fratesi talks will be taking place, apparently, rumored before this match today. There's a window, a possibility transfer window that was put out there, and it asked Juventini to rate it. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask everybody on our live to rate this window. You probably saw the tweet, everybody, but let's rate it. A window of Emerson, Raspadori, Di Maria, and Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. Rate that window. And who wants to kick us off on rating that transfer window for Juventus?
It's sitting on his lips.
Based by the facial expressions, I think it's probably not going to be a strong rating, but let's see. So we got some 5.5, 6 from Georg. We got a 6 from Hanin. We got Luca at a 7.
Hold on,
Emerson
how many?
is a -2 from Hanin. So, Raph, let's get your honest rating on that and why you would rate it that.
How many players were named?
The players that were named?
Yeah, how many of them? What's the total? I want to do some math.
So 4. We had Emerson, Raspadori, Di Maria, and Sergei Milinkovic-Savic. 4 players. If that was a window, what would you rate that window?
Emerson, as he said, is a -2. Raspadori is a 2, so we're back at 0. Di Maria is a 1. Milinkovic is a 5, but that still feels too high. That's above 5. It's a 5. 4-5. 4-5.
4 or 5?
4-5. Okay. Or 3. 3-4. 3-4. 3-4. 3-4.
Okay. Omar, rate that window.
Yeah, I'm with Raph on this one. His assessment is accurate, basically. Savage is a 4, the rest are, we can do better. There are
Yeah.
better options out there on the market. It's not like it's the only ones available and it's still very early, so we can do a lot better.
Yeah, I think for me, I had it at a 6 and strictly a 6 because of Milinkovic Savic. If we're being honest, Emerson, like I said, is at the lowest of the targets for the left back position. Like he's probably at the bottom of that list that we are with. If I'm looking at Di Maria, I get everybody's thought process on why those that want Di Maria, because experienced guy, big game player. But for me, it's I see these types of moves, and I said the same thing about who was the other guy. There was another player, similar, older and whatnot, and people wanted him joining higher fees. I was just thinking it's more of a win now type of deal if you to bring in these guys. But if you're still on that kind of upward trajectory and trying to build something, like even if you bring them in for 1 year, 2 year, how much are you gaining? And I get it that they're like, well, perfect guy for the young guys to kind of learn from and whatnot. But sometimes you just got to play these guys and get them to learn like on the fly and trial by fire. But I don't see massive benefits from Di Maria. That's just me.
True.
In terms of Raspadori, I still think Raspadori is even a bit of a gamble. I think it's a bit of a gamble. I'm not truly sold on Raspadori. Like I see him as a flex player kind of, and between a couple roles. Are
Yeah,
we just going back into some of the apparent lineup troubles that we were getting into with Paulo? So I
he
rate
still
this one
doesn't know
as a
his best
6, and
position.
I think honestly that's generous because of Sergei Milinkovic Savic. Milinkovic Savic would be the only one that's like at the upper echelon, probably top out of the targets for the positions. So that would be the window. But we do see some contrast in for the most part, everybody's around, that 5 to 7 range for ratings in here. We do have an 8 from Animesh. And Animesh, I'd love for you to explain in there why you see it as such a strong window. The other thing I'm looking at in there is if Chiellini's going, what are we doing at center back position? Are we going to be bringing in a center back? Is Gatti going to be promoted? I don't know. But that window, I think, leaves a lot to be desired. So, yeah, we talked Emerson picking up steam. We're not pumped on that. Di Maria. We got Rugani's contract extension. Injuries. Injuries. Let's get into the injuries, guys. McKennie, Chiesa, Artur, Locatelli. Locatelli, this was a shocker based on all the reports that were leading up to that press conference. Everything had said probably end of April, see Locatelli back. And then for Max to drop a bomb like his season is most likely done at his press conference, that's brutal. And that hurts this team quite a bit, obviously, with Locatelli and what he means to our lineup. So that one hurts. And people were still talking about the face from the kick there, broken orbital. It's not. It's actually a knee. It's a knee injury picked up later in that game. So it's a knee, but it was always said to be nothing serious and that he should be back late April. Now we're finding out that might be season ending. Caio Jorge out. Danilo added to the list, but should be starting today. And then Quadrado with a left abductor injury. So this list is absurd. This is an absurd list. At what point do we start to look inside and say that we might have to address something if we're getting guys going out in training repeatedly? But it does happen year in, year out. But I don't know, man. I'm seeing some of the teams out there and their conditioning or their training regimens. I mean, they're not losing as many guys in such clumps as we seem to be. I don't know. It's the training injuries that kill me. And it seems like we've had an excess of that for 3 years now. But man, time to be concerned, time to overhaul things with the training or whatnot. What's going on here? Omer.
2 years ago is the correct answer to take action. It's not a new problem from this season or even the season before. It's been going on for a while now, and nothing seems to be done. And with the way football is today, with all the international games and millions, just it's absolutely ludicrous. And trying to fight it is the toughest thing you're able to do. And if you want to be a top tier team, Real Madrid are staying at the top because they reach March with all of their players available, no injuries, no nothing, all of their first team at least. And can't say that about Juve for a long time. There's definitely an issue there with the way they're training or treating injuries. Don't know what it is, but something has to change, and fast.
Yeah. Raph.
I don't know, man. I feel like this is the doing of a higher power, because all the best players are getting injured except for Rabiot. So I don't know. I think we need to hire a witch doctor or something to undo this curse that we have. I don't think it's part of the medical team. I think we're just being cursed. I'll be 100% honest.
A higher power. Cursed. Yeah, it's tough, but I think it might be one of those things. Juve's been an old school team for just a lot of things, but a lot of methods, a lot of philosophies and whatnot. And I don't know if they're still going off all this stuff that you hear all these ex-players talk about, how difficult it is, how hard the training is. You have players literally word for word saying they have never seen anything like the workload that they get at Juventus. And at the same time, like, I don't know, I see teams that are out there that are just as fit, play just as strong on the pitch or whatnot, that don't train like this, and you don't hear players talk like that and whatnot. So it's interesting to me, anyways, to see this, but continually being behind the eight ball like that is not good, especially when you're talking about crunch time of the season. So I think something needs to be looked at. And again, it's the training injuries. It's the amount of training injuries. It's tough. It's too tough to ignore. We're going to add on to this.
Remember what Evra said, that Juve was a challenge for him. And if he was expected to run 10 miles a game and he only did 8, he had to complete that in training. That's a bit old school and just a recipe for injuries. And some of that is ourselves dragging us all the way to the 90 minutes to secure a win. So you have to keep your foot on the throttle all the time, all game long. And you can't have that comfort of, just laying back, let the other team run around. We always get to that situation when we have to press and everyone has to run forward and run back for counterattacks. And this is mostly our own doing rather than other stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think I think everything has to be looked at. And I mean, the fact that it is like 3 seasons on now with just a high amount of injuries, I mean, we definitely have to take a look there and make some changes. We just absolutely have to. Quick reminder, everybody, like the video right now while you're here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Okay, every subscriber, and I still get questions, how are you going to be entered? All you have to do is subscribe to the channel. You'll be automatically entered to win the away Vlahovic kit. Okay, so yeah, just stay tuned. In a couple weeks, we're going to give the details on that draw and how to get in there and grab that. And yeah, we've got also, check out the sponsor, of course, stripedheartsapparel.com. They just dropped some beauties on Marcello Lippi, Il Mister. And yesterday, if you haven't seen these things, they're unreal. The crew necks, the throwback crew necks. Okay, these are awesome, based off the 2001 kits and the 1994 kits. Awesome. So check them out. Show some love. For those that already have, thank you. We appreciate it. Vlahovic may start from the bench. Raph? Raph?
We'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes.
This is surprising to say the least. I mean, you've got quite a bit with injuries going on. I mean, maybe you feel a little more comfortable based on the results that took place yesterday. So that could play into it as well. But yeah, I don't know. With us playing again May 1st against Venezia, I don't know if I sit him.
Bearing in mind,
Raph, do you guys sit him? I don't sit him.
Yo, if he plays against Venezia next week and he picks up a yellow card, isn't the final the week after?
The final is May 11th for Coppa Italia.
Okay.
So that's 10 days beyond Venezia as well.
Because my worry right now is the yellow card for that final. If he is not playing today, and then he picks up the final, a yellow card in one of the games before the final, he's out for that final, and it's a disaster.
Because the Coppa Italia final, so after this game, we don't play until May 1st, Sunday, which is Venezia. Then 5 days later on the Friday, it's Genoa. And then you have Inter Milan sandwiched between Genoa and Lazio.
Okay.
5 days apart for both. So I play him 100%.
Yeah.
You got to win. Yeah, like it's just getting too close for comfort. So even with those results yesterday, like go at it and get the points. I don't see the need to rest him right now too. The cards point is very, very interesting as well. Omer, your thoughts on Vlahovic potentially being on the bench to start this one?
It's awful, in my opinion. I mean, playing Danilo, who's reported injured, but resting Vlahovic, no sense. But I wouldn't judge it. Maybe if we win and it's needed, sometimes, you know, we discover stuff afterwards, because it's not Allegri who said it, it's reporters, and usually we get out afterwards that they were at a knock, a small knock or something, and didn't want to risk him, so we'll wait till after the game to make a judgment. But on the surface, it looks like a bad decision. We know Morata is not good as a number 9 on his own, and much better as a supporting striker. So I don't know. We shouldn't belittle Sassuolo. They're a good team. Everyone's afraid to meet them, and it's away. We already lost to them this season once, barely scraped a win in the Copa in the 90th minute due to Vlahovic. Without him, we draw that game. So on the surface, it's a bad decision, but I reserve my judgment until after the game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one. I'd like to see him in there. I want to get your guys' thoughts on what Jeremiah is saying here, that Vlahovic looks super frustrated. Deprived of good service and whatnot. Do you guys see a frustrated player in Vlahovic when you watch him play recently?
I don't see anything different than what I've seen in Fiorentina. It's just this type of mentality of a guy who always wants to win, always wants to be available, and doesn't always get the ball. I don't think it's frustration from the system or the game, just a striker not scoring.
Yeah. Raph, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if I see frustration in him like visibly, but I think just the difference in play from Fiorentina to now is probably just frustrating for us to see, kind of how the game around him pretty much just revolves around him being like a Mandzukic type of player, where we just lump the ball up to him, lump the ball in behind, hope he catches something or is able to win a duel against the centre back. There's no football being played. It's just hoofball. Yeah, and that's the frustrating part.
Yeah, and YFG, we are going to get to the projected lineups, formation players for sure. I don't, in terms of Vlahovic, I don't see any frustration that I would put over and above any regular, ordinary player going through moments of games and whatnot. I don't think there's anything more, anything to look into, whatnot. I just, I think he's also had opportunities that I would count on him to bury that he hasn't, and I think that kind of adds to it as well. I think it's a player that puts a lot on himself, and I think that's what we're seeing more is because he wants to provide more. I don't think it's necessarily in the play or in the what we're doing systematically or anything like that. So I think that's kind of more of what it is. Now, this is an interesting question. I might have to look this up because I'm really, really not sure, but does the yellow suspension from Serie A apply to the Copa? I didn't think anything applied outside of the Serie A, but we saw it was it the Super Copa that those
it was
carried
the
out, and
Super
we
Copa.
lost players for that match against Inter. The
The
Coppa
big-
Italia, I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe they do, but I could be wrong, and you never really know. Do you guys know?
I think Keane was suspended because he got a red card in the English Cup game earlier this season. So
Yeah, it's all a mess. We don't really know. We'll have to look it up. Keane was a weird one. It wasn't even in the same league, but it was a cup, so they just sort of dragged it. And De Ligt was out of the Super Copa final, I believe, because of yellow in the league. I don't know. It shouldn't be. Basically, all yellow cards should be void when you reach the final. But I don't know if Italy are still up to date with everyone else.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I could quickly find anything that would expand on this. Tempers. I think, to be honest, they might. Events. Yeah, it's hard. I'd have to do some digging, but yeah, you never really know. I'd have to look into it to be 100% sure, but Serie A to Coppa Italia might be okay. They might keep the cards within that competition, but I don't really know 100%. We'd have to see. Guys, we're gonna get to projected lineups. We're gonna talk about this matchup coming up and just Juventus as a whole and whatnot. I do want to talk about one thing before we get on to it, and we mentioned it earlier, and it's this ongoing coaching battle that you see on social media. I went on a little bit of a rant the last time talking about philosophies and why there's this crazy obsession to take single results of matches and either try to boost or knock philosophies. You got to get over that. It's literally, you need multiple philosophies. You need to be evolving as a team. You need to be able to go through the gears. It's all this. Now it's diverted, and you have pretty much almost trolls looking for any result to try and prove a point when you're losing this massive context, which is the body of work. So you have this thing out here where apparently, because some criticize our own manager, they are not able to admire the work of any other coaches, and then it becomes this obsession to fire down these other coaches. Look, it is what it is. Just take the bodies of work. Don't say that because another coach drops this match where he plays an attacking style, he lost. Yeah, our manager's better. No, like that doesn't free our manager from criticism. Let's take a look at just our manager and our manager's body of work. Okay? I'm bothered when people seem to just clearly and easily avoid the discussions and the frustrations at hand. Look, Max by many Juventini, and I see a lot of Juventini that were for him coming back, and I will admit I thought we would be better off with Max going into the season. I thought we'd be much higher up. I thought we would be battling top two and going for that title. He did have us within arm's reach. I will say this. It's these thoughts that when Max came back, we were getting a manager that probably would have grown and been able to adapt, been able to evolve with 2 years separated from the game. The truth is, for most of us anyways, a lot of the same frustrations that were in the last 2 years of his first tenure at Juventus are kind of there. They're there. And it is what it is. Can Max, now take it beyond that? This is what has a lot of Juventini kind of flipped, is because you had the same exact battle going on during his last 2 seasons, the first time around, because you had those that believed he's kind of plateaued and he's not going to take it beyond that point. And now you have a lot of those Juventini that, even though they were thinking when he's going to come back, he's going to do better with this group of players, now they're kind of back to where they were during those seasons, thinking he's not going to evolve and go beyond because it's a lot of the same frustrations. That's all we have to really look at. We don't need to get into all these other managers and everything like this, because it's not apples to apples. I'm not going to compare a manager that's 10 years younger, starting off forward thinking, and still has 20 points to the positive. If we want to talk about just one of these other managers in question, 20 points to the positive on his team from when they were last season. You've got another one over in Spain, took team from 9th to 2nd. Making Champions League is a big, big thing. But we, again, in this defensive max, want to knock these guys. If it's a success for us, and we're saying that it's great for Max, we're getting 4th comfortably, but it's a failure for Xavi. I don't understand this. We have to keep it level and keep it real here. So, guys, let's get into this. Omer, this ongoing coaching battle, then we're going to hit Raph up.
Look, I just want to say, social media is not the place to have full intellectual and teaching conversation, okay? Because most of the people out there are having are in love with their own agendas and their own opinions, and they will guard it no matter what. And I always say a smart person takes new information in and changes his opinion based on the new information. But I don't know, I'm trying to have discussions with people who disagree with me, and their main thought is just, I'm an idiot and I don't see the game the way they do, so I'm an idiot. There's no point really in comparing managers. It's totally different. Pirlo had this and this, Sarri had that and that, and now Allegri has what he has. Everyone's dealing with different stuff. The league was different. There's so many small cogs in the machine that is a football team, that one of them can change the outcome of an entire season. So throwing it all on the coach's lap and saying he's the one at fault, it might happen, but the coach needs to be really bad. Other than that, there are tons of factors to factor into your argument, and most people ignore them because it doesn't suit their point and the point they're trying to make. So I'm trying to avoid, and I tell people, just, if that's your opinion, I'm fine with it. It's okay. I have no problem. You need to accept that my opinion is mine, and that's the way I see the game. And if we all saw the game the same way, it will become boring and stale, and there's no point to any talk. So I like when people contradict me. I like when they bring other points, but have some thought behind them and put them out in a respectable way. And I will gladly talk with anyone about everything. If you're just here to tell me I'm stupid, I don't need that. My family tells that to me every day. I don't need to hear it from you too. So no point in comparing anything or everything with other managers. Every season is different, and that's my take on it.
There you go. Raph, let's go. Let's hear this coaching battle.
It's just, from
ridiculous.
What I'm seeing, bro, it's literally, from what I see, it's just Allegri fans who were saying that, this season with Max, we're going to win the Scudetto 100%. It's them getting hit with the reality and going into this ultra defensive state where they need to pick out the flaws in every single other manager to prove that Allegri is better. Because I don't understand how a loss against Salernitana, when, as you said, last season, at this point, they were 20 points less than what they have now. It's the complete disregard for the entire body of work and also context. Because, this Fiorentina side are in a European battle. Atalanta, again, with their funds over the last few years, the fact that they've made Champions League is a huge success. Gasperini has done ridiculous work to get them to put them in the position that they are in now. But because they didn't win a trophy, Gasperini's been a failure. Because Italiano didn't beat us in the Coppa Italia semi-finals, he is a failure of a manager. It is ridiculously stupid. Context flows out the window, and also just simple reasoning that, Fiorentina are a much, much, much better side from where they were last season. And look at the state of their squad. When we come to Twitter with these arguments that, a game like the Coppa Italia semi-final, those games, for us, it was just decided from 2 moments of sheer luck. That probably would come from players that are of a higher quality than Fiorentina's players. In games where stuff goes south for you, the higher paid players are going to come up and pull out a moment of magic, which will be the difference between your team winning and the other team winning. So when we come to Twitter and say, there is our striker is worth probably more than their entire squad, those are things that are important to consider, because at the end of the day, we pay big money to get those players to make a difference for us. We took Vlahovic away from them to boost us. If Vlahovic was playing for Fiorentina the other day, that game could have gone a lot differently, because they don't have a number 9 who can pull something out of the hat. And it's literally as simple as that. And it's frustrating to see how every other manager that we praise because we see they have a philosophy and an idea for the club that we have not seen this season, it just turns into a huge argument, and that they need to prove that Allegri is the man and every other one of these guys are frauds.
Well,
I hate it.
And the thing is like, here's the thing. When you just look, I just try to stay away from those, because you could see it's the same accounts over and over. They're just picking results here and there. It's best to just steer clear of those because they're missing the context here. Okay. And you said it beautifully, Raph, in terms of everything that they are missing. The expectations are completely different for these clubs. You have a club, we follow a club with a massive amount of resources in comparison. There's no way I give a shit about what Fiorentina does against Salernitana as a Juve fan. And there's no way I take that result in proving some kind of point. What have we become that we are following Salernitana versus Fiorentina? We should not even care. This point total, all this thing. Let's worry about what's going on at home, in-house, and get the job done, okay? I'm tired of this whole debate thing and whatnot. People, again, I said it when I talked about the philosophies and everything like that. People have a preference in style of football that they prefer to see teams play and whatnot. I said this as well in the philosophy thing. You can play a defensive style of football, but still be attack oriented encounters and still be effective and play good football. We are broken even in trying to establish that philosophy. The best Juventus we've seen over the past 2 years in less than 5 games has been a 4-2-3-1 based on the players we have. Those, if you go back to the best match of Pirlo's season, the best match so far this season in terms of play, it is that. One of the games was a throttling, the other was a defeat. Why? Well, this is how football works sometimes. But it's not to say that in terms of overall, that was the best Juventus we've seen. Context goes right out the window when you're spotting results and just picking them. Okay. To say Atalanta, yes, they have no trophies and whatnot, but they are a team that sells their best players and cashes in on them at that time. The simple fact that they've remained for that long is huge for them. That is huge for them. And it's great, great work. But again, we're looking at all these other and trying to make it like it's apples to apples. It's completely different. Completely different. Completely different. I see
Just
no
look-
point in comparing
just-
these teams. Omer?
Just look at what Bayern does in the Bundesliga and what Juve does in Serie A. It's pretty much the same. The biggest club buys the biggest players, and Bayern doesn't get half of the slander Juve gets. No one has a problem with that. So every league is different, and of course, you can hate specific individuals. I didn't like Sarri at all, no matter what he has done with the team. I didn't like him. I wanted him out. I also didn't like Capello. I didn't want him out. Okay. That's how football works. If you don't love something or hate something, then there's actually no point of reference to you being a fan. So Fiorentina can do whatever the hell they want. Salernitana, Lazio, Roma, I don't really care. I look at the teams above us, and if they're all below us, then I don't care even more. So just everything has to have context, and if you don't use context for your argument, then it's void and there's no point in making it.
Yes. I will say this too. I'm glad that Mirgan brought this up. Said yes, but imagine if Ferroin didn't score that goal. This is an exact example of what we have going on here. You have people defending, using this as a boost to Max and a knock to Pirlo, but in reality, this is why it's not 100% apples to apples, because Max needs to get the maximum amount of points in the remaining games just to equal Pirlo's point tally from last season. Last season, we needed that Ferroni goal. This season, we can maybe get less points and still be comfortable in a top 4 position. So it shouldn't be used. You see a lot of this right now. You see, well, Max is safely in 4th and Pirlo wasn't. That's not a fair defense of Max, in my personal opinion, because he might come out with less points. And with, it's tough to say better squad if you're losing Ronaldo, who scored an insane amount of goals, and we didn't bring in Vlahovic and Sakari till January, so let's leave that out of the discussion. But he might finish with less points and be safely in 4th. So is that a fair boost to him? Just to say that, hey, we're safe. The other thing I see is I'd rather take ugly winning football. What exactly have Juventus won? What exactly have we won? Like, I don't know. Like, are we now at the point where celebrating mediocrity, comparing ourselves to the Fiorentinas and the Atalantas and saying, well, we're playing ugly winning football? We have won nothing. We literally, like, there's nothing we're winning. At Juventus, I'm used to a Juventus of old school where anything outside of the top and winning trophies is, you're just grouped in with the losers. You're one of the losers. That's what it is. That's how it's always been at Juve. And now all of a sudden, we're being a little more accepting in terms of where we've fallen. And here comes the knee guy.
Speaking of losers,
And
Let's go.
I have to say,
Here's the thing.
I'm completely still in with this project and get the younger guys in and move forward. And I always said the expectations, of course, they have to change. But even with the expectations changing, we shouldn't change our goals and our outlooks and our beliefs and all that, right? It's fine to say we are a 4th place, a 3rd place team and whatnot.
yeah,
But to
mistake.
accept it and treat it like some type of achievement is the part that bothers me. Because ultimately, let's get in top 4, whatever, but we shouldn't be like, oh, this we're happy about it or celebrating a manager because of it. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
We'll get your
I
guys'
agree.
thoughts, then we're going to jump into trivia real quick.
I agree, because it's most of it is just ifs and buts.
Yeah.
I can say how much I want that if Pirlo was the manager this season, we would have done better, but I don't know that. I can't know that. And that's what most of the discussions rely on. If this happened and if that happened, but it didn't happen. This is what just goes on now. Allegri is the manager. It doesn't matter what Sarri would have done or what Pirlo would have done. And that's the main thing. That's why you can't take it seriously, because just assumptions, nothing more. You can't know anything for a fact.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Anth, anything to add?
Hey, first of all, is my microphone coming through? Massive technical difficulties. Massive. Like
It's
not
coming
even,
through. It's coming through strong.
It's not even close to what. Anyways, that's behind the scenes. That's that should be transparent to the viewers. I'm not getting into this whole Allegri Pirlo talk. I've made my thoughts clear in the private chat. If anyone wants to know my thoughts about that, I can send you private DMs. But you know me. I've said it 1,000 times. I don't talk about the past. We move forward. Allegri's our coach, and I'll go on the record saying I will be more critical of Allegri come halfway through next year. Let's give him a summer market. Let's get these healthy players back. I know Raph totally disagrees, but that patience comes with age. So we'll get to that. We'll see what happens next year.
Raph, anything to touch on before we jump into the trivia?
No doubt.
Just to clarify, what was the overall statement that I'm arguing? Because I feel like I've gotten a bit lost in the.
We just want to get your thoughts on Max. This whole thing. We're talking about Max, how he's defended and everything.
Yeah,
and
think about an hour.
I was just saying the actual expectations versus celebrating mediocrity and this kind of split. It's fine to see expectations and be realistic about where the team is, but I think it's kind of wrong for us to go away the traditions and almost celebrate, because I'm used to a Juventus where if you're not finishing at the top, you're not winning trophies, you're just another loser. And I don't like this mode that we're kind of switching to, making comparisons to teams that we should not be compared with, regardless if we're realistically there or whatnot. Who cares? Our resources are much, much higher. We need to have higher ambitions, and we can't celebrate. We should not be celebrating top 4 finishes, in my personal opinion, other than the fact that we need to get them, but we shouldn't look at it as a defense for any manager, really.
Yeah. This season, I feel like, especially the Allegri fans, been living on a week-to-week basis with no look at what the future holds for this team. As of right now, we have no system whatsoever. The moment we get a win or a result with a defensive style of football, they come onto Twitter, I told you this style of football is the one to go. But then you completely disregard the performances of the entirety of the season so far, where that has messed us up on numerous occasions, especially in the moments that counted. Against Chelsea in that Champions League game, in the final against Inter Milan. The amount of times we've dropped points this season when we could have been in a Scudetto race simply because of the style of football. But then the week later, we will get a result against whoever. I can't even remember half of the teams. Against the Salernitana the other week, where we ended up winning 2-0 or 2-1. They come to we had less possession, but we won. So I told you Max was the guy. But at the end of the day, look at the position we're in at now. We're looking at a season that is definitely worse off than last year. Looking at the numbers, the trophies won, we have not been as good as last season. We brought Vlahovic in, where right now, if we had used him and his capabilities to the best of our abilities, we would have been in a Scudetto race right now, 100%. If we didn't shit the bed against Torino and Atalanta, sitting back for those 90 minutes and letting those guys school us off the park, those 4 points would have put us right in the running right now.
Yeah, I hear you. I gotta say this too before we get to the trivia is, regardless of everything I've said and whatnot, everybody knows where I stand, and it's not making another managerial change. And the fact of the matter is, all I'm saying is, don't look outside to make the judgments in-house. Judge Max based on what your expectations are of this team and whatnot. And if you truly believe he'll take the next step with this team next season, whatnot, but also just the question everybody as Juventini should be asking themselves, is this team capable of more? Yes. And then how much more you believe will probably give you your own personal gauge on Max Allegri. And that's ultimately what it should come down to. Enough with the comparisons, enough with all this. Ask yourselves, is this team capable of more? It was the question I found myself asking in his last 2 years, in his first tenure. I'm starting to ask myself the same question. Are the guys we have capable of more than what we're seeing, results-wise and performance-wise? Ask yourselves that, and whatever your guys' opinion is, stick with that and go with that. But I agree with Mirgan earlier on in the chat. You simply cannot make another coaching change. Okay? So let's ride or die with this guy, at least until next season. Anthony says halfway through next season is his point. We will see. We will see where we stand. Now, trivia time. Let's get right into it quickly. In the last 10 outings, how many defeats have Juventus suffered to Sassuolo in the last 10?
In the last 10?
In the last 10.
I think 2.
Omar's going with 2.
Maybe
You guys
1.
are going to be a team, so you all need to come together for one answer, and then the live chat's going to try to take it.
Well, it's definitely 1 this year.
Yeah.
I'll say 3.
You guys have to come together as a team.
now I'm
Raph,
stuck.
Anthony, and Omer with one answer.
Because whatever I choose is probably going to be the one to split the tie.
You guys as a team have to come up with one answer.
Since I'm the negative one, I'm going to go with 3 because it's more than 2.
Are you guys sticking with 3?
No, I'm saying 2. I remember there was a draw in the Sarri season. At Sassuolo, our new team, we played them like 20, 25 times maybe. It's not like we have a history with them. The last 10 games. No, I'm sticking with 2.
Okay.
2 losses.
You guys got to do it as a team. It's not working. You guys didn't get, none of you got it right anyways. Leo got it right with 1. Bikram got it right with 1.
And it's
One
Allegri
defeat in the last. Now,
It's Allegri's fault.
13 matches for Max Allegri against Sassuolo. How many victories out of 13?
For Allegri.
Does that include
many
his time at Milan?
victories?
Max Allegri total all time against Sassuolo 13 matches.
I'm going to say
13
8.
matches.
13 or 30?
13.
8.
10.
9.
10.
So what are you guys going to decide on?
Didn't we draw one? Did we draw them this year? We beat them once.
No, we beat them in the Copa.
Beat them in the Copa. Okay. Would you say 10? 10's a lot, man. Okay, I'll stick with Omer on the 10. I think it's 8.
No.
There was
wait.
meet him and go 9.
Why don't we say
There was
9?
one-
Why don't we go with 9?
There was 1 loss this season, 1 loss.
Guys,
15,
Come up with
16.
one together. You all have to
Would you
agree on
just
one.
relax, Al? I know I'm messing everything up. I ruined the whole chemistry. Just relax.
I remember 3 Allegri games where we dropped points against Sassuolo. Maybe it's more. I don't know, but I'm sticking with
8.
10.
Go with 8. Oh, 10. Okay. 9. 9 is our answer, Al.
Final?
Yes.
Okay, it's 9. You guys are level now with, well, the live got it as well, so no point technically. So live still up 1-0. There's 2 more questions. This could be make or break here. Which current Sassuolo, this is an easy one. Which current Sassuolo player left Juve on loan and was made permanent for 10 million euros?
Berardi.
Boom.
Sorry, I missed that. Who's that?
Which current Sassuolo player left Juve 10 for loan and was made permanent for 10 million euros? And Omar nailed it.
Sorry, I missed it. Who is it?
Berardi.
Oh, yeah. And then we're
I'm
going to
sure
buy him
the
back for
live-
what, 30?
Live's got 2
Hopefully
split
not.
points. This is the do or die question.
Hopefully not.
Live chat can win it. And you guys, the panel, can tie things up.
No, this is to take the lead.
Hold on,
Give
did
me
we
the
buy him from
last 2
Sassuolo as well?
players. Give me the last 2 players who joined Juventus from Sassuolo.
Demiral and Locatelli.
Boom. Boom.
I would have
Tie.
thrown Zayn.
Ty, well done. Well
My
done.
God.
Raph just waiting for that one just to smash it.
How? We got 9? That's a win. What have we been talking about here? Ties.
Because they were answering two. They were answering two at the same time, and they were getting it. So we can't do a buzzer thing because they're on the live chat. So
like Family Feud, we should get one of those.
one point loss for the live panel.
Steve Harvey, I got this.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's go. Projected lineup: Szczesny, DeScilio, Bonucci, Delict, Pellegrini, Bernardeschi, Saccheria, Danilo, Rabiot, Dybala, and Morata. That is projected. Vlahovic on the bench, apparently, to start, but we will wait and see. Sassuolo in the last 5 has 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. Juventus has 3 wins, 1 loss, and a draw. Of course, hit very hard currently with injuries. Quadrado, the latest, getting exams on that left abductor. Danilo, not 100%, but will be playing apparently. Seen a lot of negative takes out there already counting Juve out in this one. I want to see where you guys stand going into this one with this lineup. No question, it is far from our best. However, it's nothing we haven't seen sometimes, even regardless of a couple injuries. You know what I mean? Like we've got Danilo coming into the middle next to Zakaria. Rabiot's going to be playing on the outside left, which is shocking to me, but we see it regardless, and it could work. It has before. It's also done terrible at times. Bernardeschi in there will be relied upon, him and Dybala heavily for creation. With Morata in there now, different style of leading, like as opposed to if Vlahovic is in there. I think it's going to be a really, really tough one, and it's hard to really call because there's so much change. Bernardeschi and Dybala will, if they play too close to one another and they both try to play the same game, like who's penetrating the lanes, who's trying, I don't think we're going to play that game. I think we're going to be a very straightforward, just possession, get to the outsides. But if we're looking at crossing it, that game's going to be weak too, because you have no targets getting in there.
How do you see us lining up, Al?
It's stated as a 4-4-2, and I would expect a 4-4-2 with these guys. Your guys' thoughts on lineup, what you expect out of this one? Like I said, it's going to be a weird one because, that crossing game goes out the window with simply Morata up top, and Zakaria working with Danilo in the middle is not going to be able to get in there enough, I don't think, unless they hold Rabiot back, but then your left side is completely depleted. You can make this work as a 4-3-3, like if the 3 guys between Bernardeschi, Dybala, Morata, like if Dybala would play to shift to one side and Berna would shift, I'd almost like it better as a 4-3-1-2, I think, with Berna maybe in the hole and keep Dybala higher up. But any way you slice it, there's sacrifices made with this particular group of players. Omer.
Yes, I'm not overly confident what a time Max has found to try out new things. I still see them getting stuck on the right, not much of play on the left either way. I'm not overly positive at the moment, and every injury just adds to it. I hope they won't aim for the crossing game. Luckily, Sassuolo's defense is not as strong as their attack. They are a bit leaky at the back, but they do score a lot. So I never like the 4-4-2, and especially when the players are not in natural positions. And do you really have a reason to be confident against any team based on what we saw in the recent time?
Yeah.
So I'm not, but as usual, I hope I'm wrong, and we'll get the win. Even if it's 1-0, we need that win no matter what. I would love nothing more than to jump over Napoli in the stands and finish the league above them, and just get that distance from the guys beneath us, and that's it. We're done. So that's my take. I have to be leaving now because I have to go. I jumped in because Al and Raph were alone, but Ant is here. So thank you, everyone. Like the video. Talk to you on Twitter. Bye bye.
Thanks, Omer. Ciao. Ciao. Raph, lineup, expectations going into this one, how you think it's going to play out?
Not good. Not good. This is a far worse team than what we had in the first game against them in the league. No Locatelli, no McKennie, no Chiesa. Vlahovic wasn't in the team then anyway, so like, I feel I'm not very confident about it at all, and especially since Sassuolo have arguably gotten better from then as well. Since in that game, I don't think they even had Scamacca in the team. They had to play the Frel up front or something. Also, looking at the Copa game as well that we had the other a few weeks or months ago, my head's all over the place. They had we were bailed out by a own goal pretty much, a Vlahovic own goal. Vlahovic isn't even there today anyway, and then Sassuolo were all over us in that game in terms of holding possession and creating chances or whatnot. So today with a depleted team, no game changer in Vlahovic, I'm not confident at all.
Anth?
Yeah, there is some confidence lacking. It's tough to argue with young Raph there, but I think we've played them already twice this season. So we can all agree that they are a team that know what they are, right? They're not going to change for us. We know what they're going to throw at us. I fully expect park the bus 4-4-2, much like the last game we just played against, who was that, Fiorentina or whoever we played, and we're just going to try and rely on the counterattack. It worked. It's going to be ugly today. 1 point, puts us 6 up with 4 to go. I think a win fully locks up for me 4th place, but I think Allegri's going to play for the draw today. I think it's going to be real close, 0-0, 1-1. Not to give my prediction away, but I think it's going to be ugly.
And I mean, you think back to like all the evidence and just what you see out of Max, what you hear out of Max and whatnot. He manages the season. He manages the points. He manages calculations.
Game by game.
Based on those results yesterday, he knows.
Those scare me, by the way.
Like he knows.
We've never done well when we know what everybody else has already done. Like when we needed a win, how many times, I'd like to go, if someone knows, how many times have we won Sunday night, Monday night, when we've gotten favorable results on the weekend?
Yeah. We'd
Maybe
have to
a
look
draw?
at that.
It hasn't been
That's a tough
good.
one to try and find out, but there's a couple of Twitter accounts that are really good for that. I might have to reach out so that we could follow it up with the pod yesterday. But yeah, I don't like that when you know and you get this sense of comfort based on results and whatnot. This is one we would have had to approach as a must-win. If certain results went other ways yesterday, we should still have that approach. But, when you look at the lineup and the players, it's a little bit harder to really get after it and go after and almost impose your will. You're giving up a little bit in the middle of the park there. I still think based on the players we have available, we could have maybe attempted something a little bit different, more gearing towards a 4-2-3-1 or even a 4-3-3 and try and play things a little bit differently. It still involves Danilo in the middle of the park. But Zakaria, Rabiot, or utilizing Bernardeschi as one of the midfielders. I think there's some flexibility in there in some other alternatives that we could be doing. But at this stage of the game, if you haven't done it earlier on in the season, it's almost a bigger gamble than going out there with these guys in this lineup, knowing you're sacrificing something rather than trying something completely different to get a different result.
Max is going to manage this one not to lose.
Yeah,
and it's going to
totally see that and think that's going to be
Max
what
deniers, like the people on that side of the fence against Max, they're going to be like, hey, look, this is going to be perfect fodder for them because he is totally going to manage this one not to lose.
Yeah,
and it's coming. You know it's coming.
We're going to get to some Storm the Barn questions before we give predictions real quick. One came in from Sal earlier. I just want to, Raph, without considering if we have players to support it or not, what team would you like to see Juve play like?
Well, I'd have to pick a specific team. I just want to see a team with a philosophy. I'm not gonna say I want to see us play like Bayern or Barca. Or I just want to see us. I just want to see a team with philosophy. That's it.
Ant, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I fully agree. I don't think we should model ourselves after anyone. We should be a team that other teams model themselves to, right? But to Raph's point, we're a mass unit right now. In Allegri's defense, we're a mass unit. He's just throwing guys out there. I think this is another good excuse to play some of the young guys. I'm going to go out there and say Moretti or Sule, they should be getting these opportunities. But I'm having my doubts that we're going to have that philosophy next year. Raph is really pounding on that, and I really hope he's wrong next year. I really hope he is.
I hope I'm wrong, bro.
Yeah.
I want someone to quote me and be like, "Ha!"
I will say this. I answered this question kind of on the last pod where I just said I got into the philosophy discussion, and I want the Juve of old that could take it through all the gears. So if I was going to pick a team, it would be one of the old school 90s Juve's team that could defend when they had to, but absolutely torch you on attack when they wanted to. And if they had to control a game, they would. So I want the Juve of old that every team feared playing because you knew what you were in for. A team that is tough to crack, a team that's got a very, very hard blueprint to beat, and a team that basically their blueprint was you'd have to open up to try and get something out of Juventus because they were so damn strong. And when you opened up, they would murder you on the attack. So I want that old school.
I don't know who Mr. T is, but this is kind of funny. What 2 games do you think he's talking about? The Inter game, the last time we played Inter when we actually lost. That was probably our best game this season.
And Zenit.
Only 2 games without falling asleep. Yeah.
Well, just pick 2. It's hard not to pick more. Hard to pick more than 2. Zenit, which one?
That you wouldn't fall asleep for?
Oh,
well, yeah. The Inter one was. You're never going to fall asleep during a derby.
Maybe it was the Roma game.
Oh,
the Roma game was
4-3,
wild. Wild finish.
Unless you fell asleep before that.
The first match against Torino, did we win that 2-1 or was that a 1-0 win where Locatelli scored?
That was the 1-0 Luca,
1-0.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
There's been. I don't think there's. I think there's more than 2.
I think there's a couple more too. But
this is sad. We have to speak about this, y'all. This is sad.
We got another one.
Find games that were exciting.
For each panel member, how long do you think confidently it'll take for Juve to become a top team in Italy and Europe again? Another 2 or 3 seasons or longer?
I think Europe is really out of the question until the whole league fixes itself. I get the league. I think you need a strong. I know Bayern kind of breaks that mold, but I think you really need a strong league to get teams, confident and ready for Champions League. I don't think we're going to be on the European stage for a while. In Italy, next year. I think we're a couple pieces away. Unless it depends on how Inter reloads, but definitely next year for the Serie A. Europe, it's going to be a while.
Raph?
From what I'm seeing, solely based off rumors, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, I'm not going to base off anything else or agendas. Solely from what I'm basing and hearing, the fact that we still don't have any type of style of football, the players we're being linked with, I don't feel like there's going to be any comeback anytime soon. I feel like
unknown.
he says. I feel like we'll have to wait until Allegri's probably out the door before we can get any sort of.
So 2025.
I think
I don't feel a rebuild's coming.
My answer is going to be for Italy next season. Europe 2 to 3. 2 to 3. With Cherubini and Arriva Bene, I feel confident in 2 to 3 seasons with what they're doing and what they're showing. However, lately we talked about earlier on, some of the rumors are kind of like, so I don't know. There will be some L's that Cherubini and Arrivabene take. Every management team has taken some L's. Even, we want to look back. Some want to look back at Marotta and say it was such a drag to lose them and whatever. But honestly, it is what it is. There will be some L's. We'll just have to see overall what they can do and go from there. So now with that, and let's get to predictions, everybody. So
Hold
I'm
on. There's
gonna
one more
pick-
STV. There's one more STV.
I'm
There's
going to
one
pick
more
somebody.
We'll get it after.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll try and squeeze it in there after. I'm going to get actually the one that provided one of the Storm the Barn questions. Sal, you get to join us for the predictions. So just follow along, throw your predictions in there. If you beat us, which will be named if you win tomorrow on the
gonna
post match pod. Okay.
Not
So
gonna
let's
happen.
kick it off with we're going to go with the tiebreakers, offsides for Juventus. Anthony, how many offsides?
Morata's a lead striker. At least 3 today.
So 3 for Anthony.
Mhm.
Raph, how many offsides for Juve today? 5.
Oh, come on with the 5.
I'm going with 2. 2 offsides for
It's a
Juve.
good number.
Now, let's go with possession split. Raph, possession split.
59-41.
4.
Come on, man.
Come on. We know.
Let's be honest.
59% Juve. Anthony?
I'm going to go 57-43 for the SAS attack.
I'm going to go 54 for SAS.
I think it's going to be close, yeah.
Total attempts, how many on target?
14-5.
14-5. Raph, how many attempts for Juve? How many on target?
11-3.
Oh, so you're going 0-0 then. That's what you're doing.
I'm going 10-4.
Wait, hold on. I thought, is it attempts on target or was it 11
Total attempts and how many on target?
just for us?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, no. I thought
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like how many between the teams.
Halftime score. Raph, halftime score.
1-0 Sassuolo.
Damn it, you took mine. I'm going to go 0-0.
I'm going to go with
I don't know. Those are both 2 good picks. Raph, well done, buddy. That's a good call.
You're not gonna like my next one.
1-1. 1-1.
Ooh.
Full-time score.
Once. I think it's going to end 1-1.
What are you saying? 1-1, Raph? And Anthony? Anthony,
Full-time?
1-1.
Full time is
know-
1-1 for me, yeah.
Raph, full-time.
3-0 Sassuolo.
Jesus. Well, it's been nice having you on today, Raph.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, guys.
Oh, you
I'm
make
gonna
cast,
go
right?
with-
Oh, you know what this is?
I'm going to go with the greasiest, ugliest
2-1
2-1 win. That'll just feed the pro Allegris out there. Just a standard 2-1. We got a lot of 2-2s out here. 2-1s. Guys, goal scorers. So, Raph, you kind of put yourself out of this one because you have no Juve scores. So, 3-0 loss. So it's okay. Anthony, your Juventus goal scorer.
I'm going to go with Morata on this one.
Morata. I'm going to say we get one from Dybala and one from Zakaria.
Ooh, I want a Zakaria goal, man.
But you can't. You can't.
I know. But I want
So
it.
That's what you
I got
get.
a greasy midfielder goal to win this one. Grease fest. Absolutely grease fest. The last Storm the Barn, because we like to try and get them all in. Jeremiah says, what percentage do you think we'll get to see Moretti in action later? Later this game, later this season?
Both. Let's go with both.
Yeah.
We're going to get to a point where we seal up 4th. And I think then we'll probably get some in for some games. But the team's just too injury riddled and whatnot. So it's like once you get fourth, I don't think they're going to be like pushing for third or whatever. Like it makes no change once you get fourth. So I think I'm feeling pretty confident in the next couple games they'll be locked up. We'll probably see them maybe 1 game, 2 games, but yeah, there'll be a little bit of action for them. That's about it in my personal opinion. Ant said 0%.
Today's 0.
Yeah, today I doubt it today, but
I fully agree
later in the
with
season,
down
once
the
we wrap it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Raph,
He's going double 0. Double guns.
0%. 0. We know where Raph is on that, guys. It's a tough one today. A lot of injuries. Everybody, we've discussed everything. We talked about all the news surrounding Juve and whatnot. It's fans are kind of. It's a lot of the same over the past few seasons because there are a lot of frustrations. And honestly, like I tried to sum up earlier, it is what it is. We're used to a Juventus that built itself off certain beliefs. And sometimes when you start to see those beliefs fade, it creates a little bit of unrest. So like I said, don't celebrate mediocrity. Do not settle for it. But at the same time, be patient. Be patient. Let's see what happens. Today's a big one. My fear is those results going in our favor yesterday.
Big time.
But Max is going to try and manage this one out. I'm hoping for that greasy win. So let's go.
It's okay to slum it sometimes. You know what I'm talking about, Al? It's okay to slum it sometimes. Sometimes you got to get down to the dirt.
Let's see. Everybody, like the video. Thanks for joining in the live. You guys are amazing as always. Of course, we're going to be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, post-match pod. We're going to break this thing down, and hopefully it's a W to break down. Reminder, everybody, subscribe if you haven't already. Couple short weeks. We're giving this bad boy away, all right?
Awesome.
And show some love to stripedheartsbarrel.com. Check out the throwback crew necks, okay? Ant rocking the Vlahovic tees. Those, by the way, back due to popular demand,
Awesome.
back on site, okay? But check out those throwback crew necks. Everybody, enjoy the match. Hopefully we get a victory to celebrate, and we'll talk to you all tomorrow. Fino alla fine, Forza Juve. Let's go get that W, boys. Come on. We need it. Let's go.